that's.
I
don't know how they happen. Well,
Yeah.
well,
They don't seem focused on the right thing, but
but for the, up until, actually, I went to the Monterey Airport. We stayed in Monterey. Pebble Beach. Golf. One meeting, I think it will be okay.
all right, it's 9:00. I'm going to call the Board of Public Safety meeting to order. First item on our agenda are the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll move we approve the minutes of June 8th Board of Works meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the June 8th meeting as submitted. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. Any amendments today? Hearing none, moving on to old business. This is the Tipton Pork Festival. That last time they gave us a road closure for the car show. Today is their updated street closure request. And just to offer some compliments here, a new process we've implemented is when an applicant submits a road closure and they do not achieve a unanimous yes, that we convene the group of the department heads to then work toward what that yes could be. So I think that's what Jim is here to present and is in your packet.
Well, we had actually asked to have Jefferson Street closed, and we decided not to do that. We're gonna put vendors on the south side of Jefferson facing the courthouse, which we've all worked together, and we figured out how we're gonna do that. But we're gonna close streets just as normal. We're gonna close Main, Madison, Court, and part of Independence in front of Tim's. Normal hours, we're gonna close on Tuesday night at midnight, and open them back up Sunday when we get them cleaned, no later than 6 p.m. The code 2 changes, we would like to close Court Street this year at 5 p.m. instead of midnight, because we have a carnival comes in at 5:30 p.m., excuse me, when the courthouse closes, because they start setting up. And last year we didn't close it till midnight, and the people were still driving down Court Street, and the carnival was trying to set up. And if we could just go ahead and close Court Street at 5:30, just for safety reasons for the carnival, because they come in from like Independence Street and go across the parking lot, and it would just be a lot safer for the carnival if we could just go ahead and close Court Street after the courthouse closes. There's nothing down through there. If that would be okay. I mean, these guys, everybody, thought that was more of a safety issue. And then in front of Tim's, after he closes, whatever time that is, we'd like to go ahead and close that instead of at midnight, just again for safety reasons for the carnival, for setting up, because they set up their own Independence. And then when we open them up, we will get them off of Jefferson Street there as early as possible, and then we'll get them off Tim's so he can get opened up as soon as possible. And everything else is just normal. As soon as we can get them cleaned up, power washers in and get them power washed and cleaned up.
So the vendors on Jefferson Street will just pretty much be in the parallel or the.
Yeah, they will be back. I think I've measured them. There's about 18 feet there to the end of the white lines, and we'll back them to the end of the white lines. And then people can actually walk in the parking spots, and then they'll have to step down, but they'll still have eight feet or so to walk down through there. It'll be safe for them. And then that gives us about 14 more spots to grow. I mean, we're looking for growth and expansion, because we've got them just tucked in so close to each other up there right now. It would be nice to kind of spread them out a little bit, give people some breathing room. So,
Does get a little tight when there's a crowd too.
Yeah.
So, but that's the only two changes, well, actually three, since we're going to put the vendors there on Jefferson Street. And I've just talked to these two guys about when we're going to set up the vendors, so everything's going good on this end as far as I'm concerned. As long as that's okay with you guys.
I have any questions?
Will there be anything between, so the Jefferson Street vendor and that road's gonna stay open? Is that what we said?
We're going
Correct.
to, Dylan's going to set up some kind of barricades
Okay.
to protect them.
Cool.
We haven't, I've talked to him, but we haven't decided on anything yet. He's going to set something up
Mhm.
for protection. But we actually closed the streets the parade is on Thursday and they're closed. And then on Friday, right before the concert, so we usually close them about 5. About 5 on Friday, and then on Saturday, we close it before the parade, so about 1 o'clock on Saturday. So we're just worried about morning traffic is the main thing.
I'll make a motion to approve the modified street closure for the Port Festival.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the modified street closure for the Tipton Pork Festival from September 8th to the 13th as submitted. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Next, under new business, July 4th parade. Heath Moreland.
Hey, guys. I am here. We're trying to get the July 4th Tipton 200 Star Spangled Sash, which is in the park. We were trying to do the official channels for the parade. The idea of that parade is that it would launch. We are staging it in the parking lots of the South Pole and Dr. Hewlin and South Street. The two new parking areas along South Street here between the basketball courts and the pool. We want to go straight up North Main Street and technically end about the alley between Jefferson Street and Washington Street. And that way, any parade entrance can kind of disperse as they reach Washington Street. So in my request, I didn't necessarily want to close east-westbound Washington Street just to kind of keep that flowing for downtown. So that is the reason for instructing people that, hey, when you reach the alleyway there at Pfeiffer's Fitness, we're kind of done. You no longer need to assume parade formation, whatever. So in that request, my thought was that, let me back up. The 3 p.m. parade, that coincides with the car show awards, which happens at 2 p.m. What we're doing is that car show participants, golf cart decoration participants, and bicycle decoration participants, they are automatically assumed to be in the parade if they want to be. And so my hope is that we can get some sort of a first response vehicle to shut down the bridge, not the entire four-way, but at the park, but shut down the bridge about 2:30. Figured it would probably be safer. You guys could tell me it would be safer for Jefferson Street at 2:30 if you want to put like vehicles there or whatever. But I thought the cross streets like South Jackson, Adams, and Madison, I thought those could just have cones or whatever. Or if we still have the signs that say like parade day, whatever. But yeah, so that is my request that we do a small street closure. I haven't spoken with Julie yet. Julie Unger is handling the parade applications. She's the same person that does it for Pork Festival. So I will check in with her sometime this week and find out how many people we have. First year, I do not anticipate a Saturday Pork Festival style parade.
Yep.
Now, I have been contacted. I know that we've got a horse troop. I know that we've got a Girl Scout troop, a Boy Scout troop, a couple businesses. But if we get over 30 entrants, I'll be shocked. So it's not like it would be closed for an hour and a half. I'm thinking maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, if it balloons bigger than that, if you want me to touch back, like say that it gets over, let me rephrase that. I consider first response vehicles one entry. I think Pork Festival, you guys might know because you're actually there, I think they number each vehicle as an entrant. So however many first response vehicles we get to lead that off, that would be one entry. So 29 more beyond that. But if it balloons beyond that, I'm happy to touch base or even with you guys or Captain Maddox, whatever we need to do to make a short July 4th parade happen. So.
Yeah, I think just at least my request be it might be good information for us to know, but it's more important for them to know. So just as you get closer to July 4th to communicate how many entrants, that way, like you said, even a full, since it's such a short duration, it's not gonna last long, but just so we know how many entrants to expect.
So the parade route's just
Straight up north. Yeah. So yeah, it's
first year.
it is first year. Well, I was also in high school band, and my uniforms were much thicker than what they wear now. So I adored the Saturday 2.5 mile parade. So
Any other questions for Heath?
I just echo what the mayor said. If it gets bigger, just make sure you coordinate.
absolutely. And you know what we'll do first year, and especially with Julie already running Pork Festival parade, as we get closer, I'll update you guys with a number that we're seeing. Now I do know, hopefully people with July 4th first year, they're actually registering. We are incurring an issue with Pork Festival. I know this is a little bit sidebar here. Incurring an issue with Pork Festival that people that have been in it for years no longer register. They just show up that morning. So that's something we have got to squelch on our end. But it's hard to put your fist on somebody local, and next thing you know, they run to Facebook. So I got to get Facebook in every meeting. I have to. So it's
My only concern was when I sent back the approval was we don't have manpower to block two roads.
okay.
So that's where I have to figure out the bridge or Jefferson. We're not going to have manpower to do both. In a holiday and with literally a 2-week notice, we're not going to have manpower to do that.
Yeah, well,
That's the one concern that I put on the approval was as long as we're not having to block roads. Because if we're on a call, if we have stuff going on,
Yeah.
we can't be held responsible for that. That's my only concern on that.
Yeah.
And I voiced that on the approval. It's just
No, I'm perfectly fine with barricades, especially with the manpower issue. I just, I mean, that's fine by me. I was just trying to think of what would be easier for us to roll in at 2:30 and get it blocked and then get back out. But yeah, I'm okay with
Can we
whatever.
park a city municipal truck,
Yep.
street department truck?
yeah, that and potentially there's the sheriff's department if we call on one of them, or well, like you said, the municipal services. I think and then getting creative with the barricades. You said they don't require a manned person or a vehicle, but still block the intersection.
Yeah, and I've got some friends out at Cicero Township Volunteer. If we want to bring in a fire truck or an ambulance block, I'm cool with whatever's easiest for everybody else to get in and out.
I'll make a motion to approve the street closure for the 250 parade.
Second.
Motion is seconded to approve the parade route on July 4th as submitted. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate somebody taking the initiative to get this going.
So just so you know, parade is a Latin phrase for 6-block burnout box for car clubs. So,
That's a lot of news. Next, I'll just call your attention to, because I do think at this point it's just for information's sake, but Rock Prairie's submission here, there's no technical street closures being requested. Again, it's just informational for mostly, I think, for the police department to see this information. Okay, moving on to department business. We'll begin with fire department. Chief Ogden.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sorry, my document was a little late. Last week was a little hectic. Over the last month, we finally completed our annual hose testing of all of our hoses. We had very few hoses not make it through. The most common issue we find is leaking O-rings, which can just be switched out. What that does, it allows us to be compliant with like the national standard, take our hoses up to a certain PSI, make sure they hold pressure. And then we go through each hose, make sure there's no bubbling or leaks that are noticed. And then we also do our large diameter hose as well. It's the one that supplies the water to the trucks for our structure fires. So we just want to make sure every year those are done annually, every truck, every hose, spare hose. A lot of it goes back to just documentation purposes for our ISO rating too. I did have a meeting with Tim Bradford last week for the planning department as far as trying to get the fire department more involved early on with these projects going on in downtown. Historically, we come in a little bit later, and then it gets confusing for the occupant or the owner, and with Tim in the planning department as far as what we need and what we expect. And making sure that these buildings are meet all the fire codes. So hopefully we can set some standards moving forward, and basically it just comes down to communicating, keeping everybody informed. We are fully staffed. We still have one guy in an active process. Hoping we can get him to change his mind and stay at the fire department. But if he pursues another career with another department, we wish him the best. But hopefully, we hate to lose anybody that we have. Everybody that we have is a huge asset to the city, to our fire department. Back in April, we hired 2 of our probationary firefighters. They're doing very well. They just finished up their ride out on the medic truck. So after they get hired, we kind of get them going early. Medical calls are our number 1 calls. That's where the truck that moves the most. A new hire, they want to stay active. And the best way to stay active is being on that truck, learning our protocols, learning how we work as a team. So most guys do 10 shifts in a row on the medic truck. So they wrap those up. Both of them did very, very well. And we had no issues out of that. We did have three members complete a FOS class, which is Fire Officer Strategy and Tactics. It's a state certified class. They completed it and passed their state exam. Just want to take a moment to recognize Caleb Bennett, Alyssa Flick, and Chantel Howe. Those are our civilian medics. We are very short-staffed on part-time medics. So every time that they take a day off, we have to backfill that spot. That is one of the mandatory spots that we have to backfill. So when one of them takes off, the other two kind of go back and forth about picking up their shift to making sure that that ambulance is always staffed. We've had very few times where that ambulance isn't staffed, and we get ourselves in a little bit of a bind. But those three have gone above and beyond, making sure that we are running that ALS truck at all times. Moving on to budget items. I've had a short time to look over the budget to where we currently are and what we're currently spent. But just in my initial new gear for our new hires, it's been ordered, it just hasn't come in yet. That's roughly going to be a little over $9,900. We only budgeted $10,000 in safety clothing, which is down $6,000 from the previous year. So we knew it was going to be one of them items that we potentially have to transfer money to. That number, or the safety clothing, always comes down to how many hires we got. It's very expensive for us to outfit a firefighter. So I am going to have to move money to safety clothing from somewhere. I just want to touch base on fuel, because I know fuel prices have been through the roof the past couple months. Just a quick look at that. It looks like we will be okay on the fuel side. I did have one question I spoke to Tammy about, building repair, building improvement fund. I know it comes out of the CCD fund now instead of natural fire department. We had some updating done to our day room floor, our kitchen flooring and paint. That was taken out of our equipment line item. I was hoping that we could do, I don't know if it's a transfer again, to make sure that money goes back into the equipment side. So we're buying equipment with that money and not improving the building. So I think that was just an item that it was done at the time, but just I think it needs to be corrected.
So you're asking for your budget to be made whole with the transfers from CCD.
Correct.
I think what it is that was an additional item that they decided that they wanted done. And it wasn't part of the
Building improvements.
so it had to come out of their budget.
Yep.
And instead of it coming out of that line item,
Yep.
it should have probably, what should have probably happened is the money from the equipment line be moved to there, or to come to you guys to see if CCD can pay for it.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So I think that's the whole thing. Now, I don't know how you want to handle that, but that's
Okay.
that's where I think what has happened.
Okay.
So do we want to do the transfer from equipment to his building line in his department, or do you want it to come out of CCD?
I don't know at this time, just getting caught up on the information, but we can continue to have that conversation.
We just kind of hit on the medic payroll. I just did a quick figure again this morning to make sure my numbers were correct. We're definitely going to be short in civilian medic payroll. There should be, it's going to be within a couple $1,000s of what we have in part-time civilian medic to hopefully cover that. But I just wanted to give you a heads up that just with the overtime they're working and making sure those shifts are filled, the civilian side payroll is going to be short. The number one tool we use on the medic truck is typically our iPads. Those are getting a little bit, some wear and tear on them. We had a couple screens cracked, a couple home buttons go bad. So I'm trying to work with our Verizon rep to see if we can get those updated. I'm also wanting to get those for the engine and ladder truck as well. We have a platform called I Am Responding. And what that does every time we get called out to an incident, it maps it, right to the incident. but then it had layers within it that we went through and added all of our hydrants, all of our Knox boxes, all of our FDC locations within the city. It's a county-wide platform that we are tied to. The dispatching center kind of controls the account, but every fire department utilizes it. So when Sharpsville adds their hydrants to it, which I think they did, Cicero added their hydrants to it, Windfall. So if we ever got called up there, we know where that is.
Mhm.
And then same thing when they're called into the city to assist us, and if they need a hydrant, they can look at that information as well. So and also as far as just doing the medical side on the engine, as far as like getting SORs, having that capability versus using somebody's phone. So something else just to look forward to, and hopefully I can get some more information on. Grant opportunities. Been in contact with Colin the past week over the AFG grant. Just with the short time frame, I don't think we're going to be able to apply for the AFG grant at this time. It is due by 5 o'clock tonight. We're having trouble pulling some of our reports from previous years and our current year to get the actual true numbers. So I think at this time, it's safe to say that we're not going to apply for the AFG grant.
Why wasn't this applied for? It was on this report for like 3 months.
So I
With the
know,
CAFG grant.
I know it was talked about, and I know it was talked about with the city grant writer. I know there was some information that the fire department needed to provide. I got that email from Colin on Monday with the information he needed, which is 3 years of our run numbers and broken down in categories. And I think that, I don't know if that's when his ask started, was Monday, and just a week trying to do that. And what we've discovered in the last week, we just can't.
Yeah.
That time crunch, just can't make it work. But moving forward, as far as the other grants, I know we're the Firehouse subs and the Leary Foundation grant. We're going to move forward on those. Hopefully those don't require as much information as the AFG, since the AFG grant's a federal grant, where these other ones are not. So why we're going for these other grants and our possible purchases, second set of gear for everybody. That's one thing that would be tremendous for us, is having that second set of gear. So when we have an incident and we need to clean our first set, guys aren't going a couple hours, couple days without that set of gear, or trying to fit into somebody else's gear that doesn't truly fit them. Other equipment would be like a gas meter, CO meters on the trucks. The one we currently have was there before I got hired 18 years ago. So it's time for those to be updated. We do a lot of CO checks, a lot of gas calls. So it'd be nice to have those new equipments. Moving on, I know Maddox is going to hit on this as well. Since the construction is, we believe, 100% complete, and there's no anything major going to change. If we could get the building deep cleaned by a company. Our side is pretty good. I mean, there's still a lot of dust on the walls, baseboard, doors, windows. I know the cop side it's pretty bad over
I'm
there.
surprised Hearn didn't include that.
Yeah, me too.
And I don't,
What's the
maybe
square
we
foot
just
of
need to
the
reach out to them.
offices?
Um,
Do we know, what is the square foot of the offices about?
I'd have to go back.
8,000 square feet?
of just the offices?
Yeah, not the bay.
Probably.
I think maybe the total building square footage might have been 10,000, 12,000.
But with that, my goal is to collaborate with the guys, try to create a list of items that we still need to be addressed. The construction was tremendous. The bathrooms are very well appreciated, because that was a huge ask for us, just being able to get showers back to back. and try to get through 6 guys at a time. Now we can at least have a couple guys in showers. We still have issues with our HVAC. I believe it was the very first hottest day. We had a fan motor go out. So I know our HVAC, the ductwork was updated on, I'd say 75% of the building, but the units themselves were not replaced. And again, it's residential units inside of a commercial building. So, I'll keep you updated on that. Public events, A-Chef members, they did a lemonade stand last week, went over very well. It was great to have kids, families show up, and a lot of them did. The union is also going to sponsor a free day at Tip and Pool on July 18th. So anybody that lives in the city, county, outside, the union members, and as a whole, paid for everybody's fees that day. The union is also holding our 2nd annual golf outing with the police, the federal FOP. It's going to be October 3rd, October 3rd at the golf course. Is there any more information on our WPE SOG for where that stood? And I believe it was with Quigley.
Oh, for the light duty, is that what you're referring to?
Not our light
What
duty,
performance?
the physical challenge, or our physical, trying to get a standard procedure that guys must complete every year.
None at this time, but I'll coordinate with Matt and
Okay.
see if we can get that. I'm assuming that has to go through council for formal adoption, so we'll see about getting that on the next council agenda to get that approved.
I got a couple questions as far as the new public safety coordinator. I know it was advertised as police and fire. I know we still don't know the role of what they'll actually do on the fire side, which I'm sure they'll be beneficial when they learn the police side, because she's going to have her hands full just learning what Debbie's done over the last 30 plus years. She's been a huge asset to the police department and to the city. So, but for the 2027 budget, I didn't know if I needed to add anything to our budget or where that money's coming from.
So I'll speak for Chief Maddox, but as he and I discussed this, the idea was in the short term, certainly, but this role, as it gets backfilled with Debbie's retirement, her focus is primarily going to be on the police side. But there was a future strategy that I think Officer Maddox wanted to explore, which is, can we provide the same level of admin support to both sides of the building? Because it somewhat happens already, but maybe not on the payroll and claim side. So my encouragement to him was build it into the job description now. So then we have somebody who has the expectation, I'm gonna have to provide that support. If that does actually come to fruition, it'll be as a deduct from PD's admin side, and then that money will get moved over to the fire side. So yes, there will be an increase. It'll be a net zero to the city,
Correct.
but out of appreciation for admin support on both sides.
My biggest thing, I didn't know if I needed to add it to the fire department's budget because, I mean, again, pinching pennies here
Correct.
and just with everything going on. So, I'd like to start a part-time medic process. I mean, obviously we pretty much have, I think, 4 names on the roster. One guy currently works. He works full-time. So he comes up here on his days off when he can. Which is what we ask for, just picking up days here and there. So he's helping us out, but other than that, we have very few pickup days. So I'd like to start a process as soon as possible. I believe what we are discovering is it's our part-time pay is what we're not making ourselves look very attractive. I called around. Actually, my EMS captain, Nikki, took the lead on it as far as getting the information. We're on the low end of our part-time pay. Most guys or most departments are anywhere from that $25 to $28. I feel like if we want to be attractive and have somebody come in, we need to be $30 an hour for our part-time medics. There is enough money in the part-time pay right now to cover the rest of the days. If we had a part-timer working at $30 an hour, we have 35 days left in the calendar year to cover for our full-time medics on their benefit days off. So there's currently a little over 38,000 in part-time pay. So just covering this rough calculation was we were under that at that $30. And I talked to the full-time medics about it. It's like, because I know it would look weird, our part-time pay is higher than our full-time pay, but at the same time, they're not receiving all the little benefits as well. So I think every single one of them is okay with that aspect, because at the same time, they want to use their benefit day. They don't want to be told no, their day's denied because they don't have coverage. I mean, that's not fair to them. These are days that we give them if they request it and it meets a time constraint as far as we can get it covered. They should be able to get their benefit day off. So I think we really need to explore increasing that. It's basically, it would be a salary ordinance change, and I know that takes time. I would hope so that we could get it done fairly soon. But I guess my question or my ask is, can I start a part-time process for medics?
I would say yes, you'd be constrained to the current pay scale, of course, without having gone through the salary ordinance update. Now I would ask that if, based on your analysis, bumping up the pay scale does fit within the budget, if you could provide that information. I suppose it'd be to me, Tammy, and the council for consideration. That would be helpful.
And I'm slowly, we do a lot of paper and pencil in the city. Slowly trying to make my way through Excel. No expert by any means. I'm learning more and more every day. But getting away. There's nothing wrong with paper and pencil, but there's just a better way to do things. And it eats up so much of somebody's time versus having all that done on an Excel.
I think did I mention that this morning? Oh,
I have two quick questions. How many of our firefighters are medic certified?
So currently 2. One of them is dropping their medic at the end of the month.
Why?
More of a personal reason. It's a lot of time, it's a lot of commitment to keep it up. And it's not worth it to him to keep it for what we're offering him.
Yeah, so the incentive don't
So the
align.
incentive's not
So,
there.
I mean, I remember when we talked about setting up the ambulance, the ALS, sorry, I'm tired. We thought firefighters would maybe in bigger numbers get their medic certification. And then maybe even one day we wouldn't even need civilian paramedics because most of the fire department. And Tim and I actually talked to Joe about this 2 or 3 years ago. And I said, would it be easier for medics to become firefighter certified or firefighters to become medic? And he said firefighters to become medic. But obviously either they don't want to or they're not incentivized because I think it's only $5,000 or whatever. But
Biggest thing it comes down to, if we're not incentivizing it. I mean, if you look across the board, we've had quite a few firefighters, especially newer guys, they go get their medic. I mean, we offer for it, we pay for it,
right.
pay for the training. They get it, then they're out the door. They get a better job opportunity because they're doing the same thing that they're doing up here that they would in Hampton.
Do we make them sign a 3-year agreement for that too, like we do with the
I
police?
believe at one time we did. I don't know if it's been signed for our recent hires. We currently don't have any firefighters going or actively seeking medic.
I think for the firefighters, we provide that contract. We haven't, I don't think we've applied that to the paramedic.
If they go and get a
If they
paramedic
go by
license,
paramedic,
or this, we wouldn't apply it to the civilian paramedics.
correct.
Oh, right. I'd love to find a way to incentivize the firefighters more to want to
Stay
become
tuned.
medics. More not by force, but like, hey, what does it take? Because I think in the long run, it'd actually be cheaper and better for the firefighters. Like if you had a shift of 14 and almost all of them were medic, you maybe only need 0 or 1 civilian medic, and we could pay the firefighters more to be medics. But if they're like, it's not worth my time or effort for $5,000, then I get it. So that was and then my second question is, we haven't gotten an update from Nikki in a while about the performance of ALS.
So that is on the to-do list.
Cool.
Hopefully by next meeting, I can get some numbers, some projections, and see where we're at currently sit. I'll have to meet with Tammy, of course, to get the final numbers.
Yeah.
I will say it looks like we're having a little below average year as far as where we were at last year, run number wise, to where we're at currently. But that can change month to month, day to day.
Yeah.
Some days we run 10, 12 calls. Some days we run 2, 3. Some days they're very few and far between. There might be at 1.4 hours, we don't have a single call.
I think the last update we got, there was a bit of miscommunication. We thought we were like bleeding money, and then it turned out that was a per month revenue, not total.
Right.
So it changed the numbers a lot, and it seemed like for our first year, it was
I will
Okay.
say, like, I've been involved in the EMS side of things as far as like when we initiated it,
Mhm.
and then a little bit over the last few years anyways. But I know that first year, we knew it was going to be close. We had
Yeah.
a lot of upfront costs.
Yep.
It's always projected off run numbers of the previous years, so a lot plays into that. So for us to show that we are making payroll, we're paying the bills, and we're not going in the hole was huge. I know when it was sold to the council years ago, it had to be looked at as an investment,
Mhm.
because that's what it is. It's going to cost somebody up front a lot of money. But what was that return? If there was no return in the medical side, nobody would be into it.
right.
Every single fire department nowadays, except for like your huge ones, are in the EMS side of things. They have their own ambulances, they're transporting, they're doing their own billing. Because those, I can't even say it, but speaking, the medical is where all the runs are.
Right.
I mean, I believe we're over 80% medical runs right now, year to date. That's all I have.
Any other questions for Chief Ogden?
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
Police Department, Chief Maddox.
Good morning.
Morning.
First of all, like, leaders have been continuing to go through expectations and the leadership change, just trying to make sure everyone's roles are. Since we're down an assistant chief, we have to kind of modify our roles. So that's been a little bit of difficulty, just trying to figure out what all that looks like. Our call volumes are up, our traffic stops are up. If you look at the average of the year, we're up 32% this month for call volume, and our traffic stops actually went up 57%. So as we see, we're having more productivity and actually starting to be more out there, just a little bit more. And a lot of times it's because of nice weather, but it just gives them more of an opportunity there. Going on to staffing issues, we have 11 of 14 spots filled. Javen Stucker, our new officer, actually, we have a start date officially July 6th. So we'll have a new guy starting.
Nice.
As we know, that's like a 9 to 10 month process to get him on the road fully, but at least that's a start date. We at least have one going. We also, as Chief Ogden said, we have Holly Whitehead starting Thursday. She's going to be the one taking Debbie Frazier's position. She's going to get roughly, 11 days of training to learn 35 years of work. But Debbie's going to help out there. We talked with the city about assisting her as well when she's needed for more claims and things like that. Our new process, we started an application process just ended Friday. We have 18 pre-applications. I think that's more than we normally get, so that's a good start. The only bad thing is we have 2 laterals, and only one will probably be anything that we will actually pursue. So that's kind of disheartening. Just not getting laterals is hard. Lateral could be a 10-week process rather than a 10-month process. So that's gonna hurt, just trying to fill a position and just trying to build the morale of not having to work all these extra days. On that note, we have talked to one of our officers who resigned effectively, what was that, Saturday was his last day. He's agreed to come back part-time. And that's where we're gonna actually talk with the board as well for a salary ordinance to try to figure out how we can entice him to stay, because the rate right now is abysmal. Like, it's pretty bad. And I mean, my son makes more money at CVS to be a part-time person than he does to make a police officer's role. So that's something we'll have to work out there. Don't know exactly what it looks like, but we're gonna try to work through those, because a part-time will at least cover anywhere from 2 to 5 shifts a month, which might not seem like a lot, but when we're 4 officers short on the road, 2 to 5 shifts is huge.
Is there a limit the part-time can work? I thought I remember something about.
It's like 1,100 or
1560.
1,650. What is it?
1560.
1560, which we figured out that's 8 shifts a month.
Okay.
And there's no way they're gonna work 8 shifts a month. I mean, that'd be pretty much, you don't have another job, because 8 shifts a month, 12-hour shifts would be astronomical. And I wouldn't want them to, because that would be burnout beyond belief.
Yeah.
But my goal was, and I talked to this officer, anywhere from 2 to 5 shifts a month. And we've also talked about breaking them down into 6-hour shifts if he has to. That way, at least we get even half shift coverage is better than nothing. Just trying to get creative of a way to do it. Talk with Mayor too about potentially trying to figure out ways to be creative with retention as well. Because if we lose another officer, we're in pretty bad shape. I mean, we're already low end. If we get one more loss, it's going to be the situation of, do we cover the school, do we not? And that's the hard decisions we have to make right now. Trainings, we haven't done a whole lot of trainings lately because we have been short, but Officer Money is actually getting trained today and tomorrow for like an evidence custodian, which I was very encouraged that they called me in this position. this training just came up. Got a call Monday. He starts this training this Monday. So less than a week, we got someone in a training that was necessary. A supervisor actually covering the shifts for this gentleman so he could do the trainings, which I thought that was huge. That just voluntarily said, I'll work it to cover for him. So that's really neat. Want to give performance recognition to our day shift. Sergeant Robert Newmaker, Captain Brandon Lazier, and Officer Dalton Ludwigson. They had a medical emergency last month to assist the fire department. They did a phenomenal job. I heard from fire department leadership, plus we did a debrief afterwards with both departments. And I think that the way it worked out together, I think couldn't have been any better. I mean, the outcome isn't what we wanted, but as a team, I think we did really well. And I think we're starting to build that relationship with these opportunities that we debrief together. And I've talked with, she's a captain, right? Mm-hmm. So the captain of the EMS as well, she's going to kind of spearhead a lot of those medical ones as the cohort to bring these together. And we've been talking a couple of times since then, just to keep doing these on medical runs, just so we can see what we can do better. Because we're going to be usually the first ones on scene because we're already in our cars. So that's huge for me. It also has been a rough month because we had 3 death investigations, which in the city of Tipton, we usually get, I don't have the number in front of me, but probably 5 to 7 or 8 per year. And we had 3 in literally, what was that, 2.5 weeks? It was a rough 2.5 weeks. But I think with letting our officers know that help is there, and me and Chief are going to talk about that, I think just the knowing that it's there is huge. Even if they don't take us up on it, they at least know it's there. So we're doing that. And that's going to continue as well. I've talked with the other people in that situation. We're going to try to keep this rolling. As you can see, the numbers in there, traffic stops are up, citations about flat. Traffic stops aren't about making tickets all the time. It's just more of stopping that at the activity. Financially, that's really hard to get into. Wasn't here last week, and then we're just trying to figure out budgetary stuff. But I will say, in the percentage-wise, we're right on track. I think we still have like 57% of our budget left to spend. So we're about halfway through the year, but we also have some big ticket items that we're starting to try to work through as well. I'm talking to Colin, trying to figure out grants to get new tasers, things like that are way out of our scope. I mean, the last quote we had was 2 years ago, and it's $70,000 to get new tasers. We haven't been able to break that down yet, but I'm sure it's went up. But we're looking at potential ways of, do we get 10 now, a couple later, just to try to make do with what we have. Because if our new guys don't have a brand new taser, I think we can get by that temporarily, but we have to look at the big picture of getting new ones. Ours are obsolete, and I think I brought that up last month too. We've received 2 of our 6 patrol vehicles that we are promised through Enterprise. They came fully equipped, good to go. Both are in the fleet now. They're getting driven, no complaints on those. The 4 that are coming, we took 2 down of our old ones, so they're trying to retrofit our radios and things like that. I was told the next couple weeks we should have the next 2, and then we have to take 2 more, our last 2 down, and then get those back as well. So in the next, I'd say 4 to 6 weeks, we should be fully our 6 vehicles. The facility needs, kind of like me and Chief have talked about that too, is just the deep clean. And our side is pretty bad. I mean, as you know, we've been a short of part-time worker. We don't have the entities to do that. We're not there all day, so we don't have the opportunity to do that. That's not an excuse, but that's just what it is. I mean, there's dust. I think Chief walked in, 2 weeks ago, and you could just see the dust on the side of the door. Just because everything sticks, as you know, everything sticks when you do construction. So maybe just a deep clean, at least through the offices side. Like he said, the bathrooms, they cleaned those well because that was on their job scope, but everything else was not part of their job scope. So that's something we were going to bring to the mayor and just see what options can be done there, because that's definitely not in our budget as it sits now, because that wasn't something that we planned on. Also trying to work through some storage constraints. We talked with the mayor about this, is we don't have any storage. When they took the bathrooms, we actually had, I think it was the female bathroom, half of it was our storage, because we didn't have any females at that point. I think we had the 2 office ladies, and that was it. But now they have medics, and then we have, well, 1 and potentially, and that secondary females. We have to find a way to do some storage. And there's a training room up front, used to be the city court, trying to figure out with fire department how we can utilize that together, or just figure out what we can do. That's going to be a challenge, because it's 2 doors that open with no seal. So that's something we have to work potentially of, fixing that before we can move it into something else. Community engagement, we assisted the sheriff's department with a mini 4-H demonstration. It was pretty neat just to have a canine from the county, and then just talking with these kids and being a representation from them. We also have more things coming up as well, with the safety fair coming up, the back to school bash. There's all these other things that we're still going to do. We have some of those dates already set. I just don't have it with me right now because it's more later in July. Like I said, they're talking about the needs, just talking about the language for the ordinance amendment, about the new patrol officer, how we can kind of get that stuff. That's pretty much all I have at the moment. So unless you guys have any questions or things you want to add on.
Maybe a question on the hiring process. So the next steps, that the application process is closed.
Yep.
So then what's the next step on, there's going to be the testing.
Like I said, we just got the finalized 18 of them. 2 of them are laterals. We don't demand a lateral to do the physical testing as of right now. Our talks are in the future of making them do those, but we haven't done that. And good Lord, probably at least the last 6 to 8 cycles, we haven't made laterals do it. I think we're going to look at potentially making them do it, just so we know what we get. I mean, they'll be part of the interview process and all this stuff anyway, but why not make them come do the physical to make sure that they're good to do it? That's not atypical. It's about 50-50. Smaller departments sometimes don't. Bigger departments always do because they can. But we're going to do the physical test in July 11th. The CW Mount building opened up their building for us so we can do it inside, because you never know with rain. And we have big obstacles that we have to do. It's not the normal testing we used to do, but they're giving the facility for the physical testing and the written testing. They've just opened it up for us. So we had somewhere at the schools doing construction, so we can't use their gyms. So July 11th will be that, notifying all of them today, the email of the dates, asking them for receipt that they got the email so that we know who's coming ahead of time. Still most of them, some will not respond. They might show up, they might not, but at least we have an idea. And then after that, we do backgrounds, interviews and stuff like that. I mean, I can't give a date on those.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I would say a couple months after the testing is when we probably start interviews. I mean, it's not a quick process, because we have to do, let's say 10 of them passed it, that's 10 backgrounds, and we usually have 3 people doing backgrounds. So it's pretty extensive background to do with that mass amount of numbers.
Yep.
So The hope is to get, my hope of this would be get us by November to get that totally done. By the time they offer, get through perf and all that stuff, because perf, I think this last time took, I think he went in May 2nd. We just got the perf finished, what, Thursday? So you're talking about a month and a half
Mhm.
to get through this process. So as you can see, it's a long process to get through, but the fastest we can get through this, we're gonna do our best to get them filled.
Any other questions for Chief Maddox?
I do have one question. Do you want him to, send his reports to us to pass? Does he,
Yeah.
I did send one to you. I emailed it to you.
Okay, it's in my inbox. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then I'll print those. in.
It was a delay because I wasn't in the city. I actually wasn't even in the area all last week, so.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
I'll do better to send it earlier, like I said, I just wasn't here with access to all that, so.
Well, I too am returned from vacation, so I'll have a report. I'll have a report for the council meeting tonight. But any other questions from board members?
I just want to thank both of these guys for their work and their effort to get us through. Thank you, guys. Move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.
Hey, Tammy. The amounts on the bottom of this resolution don't match.
what did you say?
The amounts on the bottom of resolution 2612 don't match.